Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, whatever day, time of the day it is. Welcome to my very first blog on YouTube. I'm hoping that if this one takes off and gets a lot of viewers, that the other ones will follow in sync, or consecutively, whichever way you want to word it. And even if it doesn't, I'm still going to continue to release one every week, maybe even more than one every week, so as to increase my chances of getting more viewers. I'm not going to stop, at least not until I'm satisfied with that I've gotten everything out of this that I hope to get out of it. So, as you can tell by my username, I love movies, and I did want to be an actor, but after some consideration, I considered being a writer instead, maybe, and probably maybe even a movie critic instead, because I'm very well versed into movies and TV shows. I've seen and watched all kinds of movies and TV shows, and I'm hoping to express my opinions of them on this blog, as well as maybe talk about some other relevant things to my life as well at the same time. So basically, with this weekend, the biggest thing that's happening is Dark Knight Mania's hitting everybody with the release of The Dark Knight Rises, and surely enough, the hardest place it's hit is Aurora, Colorado, with the theater shootings, and my heart goes out to the victims and the families. I hope that you can find some kind of closure in everything that has happened. And, well, I saw the film last night, and I'm impressed with it. I really enjoyed it. I think I'd have to view it a few more times, and I definitely want to view it a few more times. I'm definitely planning on getting it on DVD. And what I've done is I paid very close attention to many of the details in the film, and I am thoroughly impressed with everything that happened. I think it's a pretty good film. I enjoyed many aspects of it. I think I'm going to go into more details about the film's plot and its details of such. So there's a spoiler warning here. So if you have not already seen The Dark Knight Rises, do not watch this video any further. You know, on RottenTomatoes.com, there were actually 2 leaked photos of like a very important plot point of the film that I'm surprised got released. They were probably released as an oversight, as some aspect. I'll delve into that in just a bit. Right now, well, on the tomato meter on RottenTomatoes.com, the film is 87%. So they were impressed with it, although they weren't as impressed with it as they were with The Dark Knight, which ranks at 94% currently. And I'm sure a lot of The Dark Knight's fame and success is mainly because of Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, and it was very, very masterful indeed. He definitely deserved those wins for Best Supporting Actor and Best at both the Academy Awards and the Golden Globes, and Best Villain at the MTV Movie Awards, as well as all the other Best Supporting Actor awards he won for his performance. So, with the plot details of The Dark Knight Rises, the 2 photos that were released on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think these were released as an oversight, because Chris Nolan was very secretive about everything that happened in the film, and yet for this, a major plot point in the film, to be spoiled through these 2 photos on not YouTube, on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, well, I'm not sure if many people would have caught on. I'm sure the comic fans would have definitely caught on. It reveals that Bruce Wayne's new love interest, Miranda Tate, played by Marion Cotillard, who was very good in Inception, I must say. The fact that she was I think she should have deserved the best supporting. She deserved the best supporting actress nomination for her performance in that film, and they seriously overlooked her. As well as, I know it's MTV, but at the same time, they seriously overlooked her for a best villain nomination as well. And I think if she had been nominated, I definitely would have voted for her. And what happened was they revealed Miranda Tate to be Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, who was played in the first film by Batman Begins by Liam Neeson. And she is seeking to finish the work of her father by destroying Gotham, and at the same time she wants to make Bruce, or Batman, pay for killing her father as well. Even though he technically didn't kill him, he just didn't save him. As I was saying, it's argumentative how exactly that can be discussed. And so, well, I want to quickly just also point out that a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about in my blog here, all my blogs, it's mainly a matter of opinion. If I'm being it's constructive criticism. I'm not intending to say that my opinion is higher than those of other people. I'm just simply saying that it is my own opinion, and it stands alone from everyone else's because of it being my own. And, well, also, Bane. Tom Hardy did a really good job in the film, and he played a character who seemed to be evil for the sake of being evil. Seems to a certain degree, and then we get a better understanding of his character later on in the film. I even get a shred of empathy toward him, or apathy, whatever you want to call it. I think it's empathy toward him when we find out that he isn't Ra's al Ghul's son. My brother was disappointed when we found that out, and I was actually kind of surprised the fact that he wasn't sick. He sounded like him at the same time as not only being like believing in everything he believed in. Well, it turns out in the little origin story, it was revealed that a mercenary or a gunman, a soldier for a warlord, had been with the warlord's daughter and married her. They had a child. Child was believed to be Bane, and it turns out the child was the child grew up in a prison, an actual prison, concealed with a well, such and such. And so then soldiers stormed in and attacked the warlord's daughter, killing her. One of the men sympathetic toward the child helped the child to escape. The child climbed out of the well with their bare hands. The child believed to be Bane, while the protective soldier suffered the punishment as a result. So it turns out, we find out Talia was the child, not Bane. Bane was the protector. And then as a result of his injuries, Bane became the hulking, brooding, well, he didn't become hulking because of it, but he needed the breathing mask afterwards as a result of his injuries, and it shows how loyal he was to Talia, and that Talia was the child who climbed out of the well all by herself, no ropes, her bare hands. It was basically an inescapable thing that could not be done, and then Bruce does it later on as well. In fact, he did it earlier on when he still thought it was Bane who did it and not Talia. So then we also find out that Bane, who was part of the League of Shadows, was excommunicated, not because he did anything wrong, but at the same time just because Ra's al Ghul, or Ducard, was scared of his appearance. Not necessarily scared, but saw him as a monster as a result of his appearance and cast him out as a result of that. Talia, feeling so incredibly devoted to Bane for everything he'd done for her, she left the League of Shadows, and then she regretted her decision later on when she found out about her father's death, and so she sought to finish his work as well. The League of Shadows, they're not necessarily evil. I mean, they are doing very bad things. Their ideas, they believe the only way to rid Gotham of crime is to destroy it. So, therefore, they're not like the Joker, who, like, he could have destroyed Gotham if he wanted to, but instead he wanted to unleash chaos amongst it, so that chaos would consume it eventually to a certain point. So that's my take on, and then also the ending as well. People were puzzled with the ending because they didn't know whether or not, like, Bruce had actually survived. They thought maybe Alfred, when he was in the cafe at the end, he thought he was seeing Bruce when he actually wasn't. Well, I think Bruce did somehow survive, and I don't, because he was with Selena, and I don't think Alfred would have thought to imagine him with Selena. Maybe he would have, maybe he wouldn't have, but it would have been a bit of a stretch. So we'll see how. So yeah, there are many theories. Probably the most likely theory being that he somehow fixed the autopilot on the Batpod so that he could eject before and get cleared in time before the bomb went off, as the pod carried the bomb off to the ocean, away from Gotham. So with that's my full opinion on Dark Knight Rises, and with like I said, I'll mention TV shows too, go into detail about those. I still watch Nickelodeon. I'm a huge supporter of old Nick in the 90s or all that on Teen Nick. I really want a Nickelodeon Rewind channel. And I also like a Nickelodeon Rewind, like, branch of Nickelodeon movies as well, which they can make, like, old films involving Nickelodeon Rewind. So currently on Nickelodeon, the best show is House of Anubis, because that has believable characters who could exist in real life, going through believable things that could happen in real life, except with the exception of the fantasy elements. The fantasy elements are there. The fantasy elements are more believable because the characters and what they go through are more believable. And then a distant second on the show, on the channel, is How to Rock, which verges on like funny at many points, and then other times like you're rolling your eyes in like disbelief over what happens. And like I said, constructive criticism. I'm not intending to be malicious or anything. I'm just stating my opinion of what I know. So hopefully I am able to get a lot of viewers on my videos, and I know it's early on for this, but I also wanted to make some recommendations as well. For those who love The Dark Knight so much, and you know the Joker wasn't mentioned once in The Dark Knight Rises at all, and I respect Christopher Nolan's decision not to do that, because then he was respecting the late Heath Ledger in that sense, that it was actually better. It's almost as though he didn't even exist, though, but he did exist. We know he existed. The Joker, that is. And so for those who speculate about what happened to the Joker in between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, there's an unofficial, but it's not necessarily official, it's not necessarily unofficial, though, video series on YouTube called The Joker Blogs. Check it out. It's really effective stuff. Chris McClure, who plays the Joker in the show, or in the videos, he does Heath Ledger justice, I think. And I also want to recommend a video by Kurt Hugo Schneider, Nothing Left Unsaid, a short film that's about 13 minutes long, and In the Antigone and the Sunken Treasure of Polynesia, which my friends made for an English project back in senior year. Just simply type in on YouTube In the Antigone, which is INANTIGONE, In the Antigone. It was made in response to when we were reading the play Antigone. So hopefully you enjoy those recommendations, and hopefully you'll tune in next week as well. And well, I'm excited to see how things go. So also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Future Writer, one word, FUTURE WRITYR. I used a Y instead of an E because future writer with an E was already taken. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.